growing deeper. The theme for June is in living color. Today's topic, it's never too late and it's never too soon. Reverend Elizabeth Frawley reminds us of our truth. Your spiritual magnificence is your very essence. It is the place within you that has never been hurt or harmed. It's your highest and best self, your greatness, your brilliance, your opulent splendor. It's the kind and generous, trusting, believing, prosperous, grateful, wise, beneficial presence on this planet that is you. It knows what to do, when to do it, how to do it, and it does it. The book of Isaiah, chapter 61, verses 1 to 3, reminds us what it means to be a beneficial presence on the planet. The Spirit of the Lord God is upon me, because the Lord has anointed me to bring good news to the oppressed, has sent me to bind up the brokenhearted, to proclaim liberty to the captives, to release the prisoners, and to comfort all who mourn. Let us affirm together. It's never too late to live my...
There it is.
Oh, sorry.
Here we go.
Is it here? Okay. It's never too late to live my authentic life.
And
It's never too late to take the first step. At this time, let me welcome Dr. Reverend Kathleen Johnson. Do you need this? Thank you so much. Oh, wait a second.
Just going to take a moment here. And again, just tune in to each and every one of you. So it's never too late and it's never too soon to be our spiritual magnificence. Our spiritual magnificence and all that means for you. That quote was so beautiful because it covered just so many of the aspects of our spiritual magnificence: gratefulness, wisdom, love, caring, being a beneficial presence on the planet. And so it's never too late and it's never too soon to show up as that beneficial presence, to allow ourselves to be guided into action, loving action, caring action for each other, for all of humanity, for our entire planet and its environment. So today I wanted to highlight two things that are going on today and this week. The first one is Juneteenth, which will be on June 19th. So I'd like to honor that, and also Father's Day and the Divine Masculine. So it's never too late and it's never too soon to celebrate freedom. So all of you may know this already, is that Juneteenth, which is June 19th, and it goes back to June 19th, 1865, which was the date that the last of the enslaved people were released in Texas. So it took a while, and then Texas was the last place where the troops were sent in and say, you need to release these people now. And so it was done. And so in honor of Juneteenth, we are honoring the spiritual principle of freedom. And I've been sharing, these different principles each week. And so this is what it says in our Science of Mind curriculum that we have. The principle of freedom is that every human being is endowed with the right to be free and has the freedom of choice. So you notice there are two aspects to that. We're endowed with the right to be free, and we have the freedom of choice. So we're celebrating not only the emancipation of those who were enslaved and their unwavering faith and strength and courage to move through those times, we're also celebrating the freedom that we have within us in each and every moment, that freedom of choice. So freedom is not just a destination. Freedom is a way of life. It's a choice each and every moment that comes from a place of being conscious that we have freedom of choice and that we don't have to be stuck in a certain mindset or emotional state. That is true spiritual liberation. That is true freedom. So each act of kindness that we choose, each thought of loving kindness that we choose, every way in which we demonstrate that divine magnificence, gratefulness, and so on, we are expressing our freedom in a conscious, a vibrant, and a vital way. And therefore, what we are doing is we're standing in solidarity for who we are on the planet. And it's so much easier to show up for a march or whatever that's going on that we choose to be a part of with a place of presence, to be that presence of peace and harmony and unity and carrying that vision of a world that works for all. So it's never too late and it's never too soon to celebrate and be the presence of freedom and also advocate for the freedom of others. It's also never too late and never too soon to be the beneficial presence of the divine masculine. Now, the divine masculine, we are multidimensional beings and we are all whole, perfect, and complete. So while people present or people show up as masculine and feminine or some combination of that on the spectrum, I also know that each and every one of us embody the divine masculine. So I wanted to highlight the divine masculine today and talk about being that beneficial form of it. So the divine masculine, what does that represent? In the Signs of Mind symbol, it represents, which is up here, it represents the top section, spirit, or divine mind, and it's the all-providing, all-protecting, all-powerful presence of the divine that plants the seed in the universal soil, the feminine, and is expressed in form. So the feminine then represents the heart, the divine masculine represents the mind, and of course when we do what we do at the beginning of every service is drop down into the heart, we are doing what's called marrying the divine with the masculine, which is a very, very powerful, brilliant, luminous place from which to show up in each and every moment. So the thing, though, is if the divine masculine shows up and without the divine feminine to temper it, what happens is what we've read a lot about, toxic masculinity. And in that type of toxicity, life is about preservation, survival, striving, and increasing the bottom line at all costs without an understanding of the impact on the environment and on individuals. And so the impact of that continues to be things like stress and depression and fear and burnout and harm that happens not only to the individuals involved, harm to self and harm to others, harm to our planet. So the thing that has been called forth is this healthier version of the masculine that is, again, married with the divine feminine, a place in which love can flourish and love can guide decision making and actions. And then what happens then is servant leadership or servant being coming from a place of service to the planet. So that's what we're doing here as spiritual community. That's who we're being here as spiritual community. That's what our classes and our workshops and our services are all about, is that beautiful balance, that combination, that marriage of masculine with feminine, so that the intellect is tempered and guided into action that truly is beneficial. We can say, I'm a beneficial presence on the planet. Robert Rabin wrote about this idea of mysticism in the business world, and he said very clearly that business leaders must be taught to be mystics. They must be taught the ways of mysticism, meditation, and so on. His focus was on meditation, to access inner wisdom and therefore be servant leaders. So I'd like to illustrate with a story. This is a story I came across quite some time ago. I was actually looking for a good story through this goes all the way back to like 2012 when I had originally come across this. It's a story from Judith Scutch Whitson, who is the publisher of A Course in Miracles. She had an interview with an ambassador of Venezuela to the UN. So this is some time ago. I'm guessing this was probably back in the 1970s. And this is what the ambassador to Venezuela to the UN said. I want to quote him because it's so powerful. He said, "I was sent to France for my education as a young man. One of my teachers was a Jewish philosopher who gave me a precious gift. He taught me how to quiet myself, a method of meditation by which I could touch the inner core of my being. Years later, I had a 2-week assignment in Paris to get 43 third world countries to agree on 24 principles of action for the UN. The first week was a disaster. Imagine people of many languages all speaking at once, and no one is listening." So you can just imagine the cacophony in the room. In addition to that, he said, it was a dreary, cold winter, and the room was not ventilated and full of smoke. That was in the days when it was fine to smoke in public, and people were coughing. So set in that kind of scene, he said, I felt as if I were a total failure. All of a sudden, the face of the Jewish philosopher appeared before me, and I remembered the precious gift that he gave me years ago. I closed my eyes and took deep breaths. I went deep into my interior where I really live. I asked for help about what to do. A voice within said, "Open your eyes and let your eyes go around the room. See each person and surround them with light." And that's what I did at the beginning of the service, and in addition to something else. So he said, I looked at each one of the delegates slowly, one at a time, surrounded them with light, and broadcast the thought, I love you. I love you. It took about a half an hour. The delegates actually began talking and listening in a way I had not seen up until now. I went within again and asked for guidance. And what I got was this: ask them all to stop and be silent. So I said, ladies and gentlemen, we have 24 issues to agree upon, and not one has been agreed upon up until now. I know you all have cultures that recognize a presence and a power greater than the individual. I would like to offer 5 minutes of silence and would like everyone to touch that part of themselves where spirit lives and to ask how to proceed. He said no one disagreed. So he dimmed the lights, and then a miracle happened. He said after the 5 minutes, when we opened our eyes, the room was filled with light. Everyone saw it and gasped. No lights had gone on, and the sun had not come out, but the room was full of light. We came up with a plan as to how to approach the 24 issues and went home 2 days early, having accomplished our mission. Let's breathe and take that in. Powerful story. Powerful story. So we have that same capacity, each and every one of us. We have that capacity to drop into the silence. Notice, all he did was ask for 5 minutes. We have that capacity to do that not only during our meditation practice, but throughout the day when we come across something that requires a decision, and we want to make sure that we do it in a conscious way. We can take that few moments and drop within and listen. I'm inviting everyone to be that and to do that more frequently so that we as a community show up in a more conscious and vibrant and wise and beneficial way as we move throughout our day. So let's do that now. Let's practice. We have just a few minutes. We're just going to take like a minute or so and drop into your heart and ask yourself the question, whatever that is, whatever is on your heart or what's been in your mind, what is it that has been calling for an answer? And so I'm just going to be quiet for a moment. Take note of that. And even if you didn't receive something, I invite you to just turn to someone and just share in a couple of words, if you're willing, what it was that you received. And if you don't think you received anything, start talking. It's amazing. Usually the answer will come out anyway. I know that when I journal, the answers come out. So turn to someone and see what happens. There's it's very palpable to me. Each one of us having taken just those few moments, there's richness and vibrancy in the room that is even beyond what it was before, and it was pretty darn good before. But there's this beautiful presence that I'm feeling in this moment. So just turning within in this moment and giving thanks for the inspiration of Juneteenth and Father's Day that guided us into this, this awareness of the power, the presence, the life, and the divine magnificence of the all that is centered right where we are, right in the core of our being. And realizing that as we live from that place, as we take those moments in the silence, that we show up more and more often and more powerfully and gracefully as that beneficial presence on the planet, as those who are conscious of the freedom of choice available to them. And therefore, we are the bearers of freedom.